it is warm. It's not getting any cooler. Like I said this before, I picked the wrong time of year to be fat. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here, 79 Super Beetle. And this episode is starting off, well, wasn't planning on starting this episode off this way. Not what I intended to do, but in a simple task that I've already done on this channel with this car, it's opened the old Aunt Dora's box. What I'm getting at is, if you watched the last video, the drive video, fuel gauge wasn't working. So I immediately thought it was the floats. The floats were hanging and they weren't reading correctly. So got a new set of floats, threw them in the car. Well, then everything went sideways. Yeah. Don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of science going on under here. Mainly because new floats read correct. Oh, excuse me. New floats were reading correct to my DVOM. Also, new floats were reading correct to a standalone gauge I like to use to test floats. Problem is, gauge in the car was doing whatever I wanted to do. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to start this episode off. I don't know what else we're going to do in this episode right now, because I wasn't planning on recording this. But I'm going to show you how I got to the conclusion of where I got to of tearing the entire interior apart. So, yeah, this should be a fun one. I don't know. Again, I wasn't planning on recording this, but you know, diagnostical and everything. I figured I'd show it. So let me bring you in and show you what I got going on. Oh, bumper, you're gonna be my friend. All right. How did we get here? I guess is where I'm gonna start. All right. Changed out the fuel sender. This was a new one I put in, wasn't reading accurate. Well, wasn't reading accurate per the gauge and per my DVOM. One of these floats was hanging, I guess, stuck on a baffle or something. Outside the car, this would check fine. And even actually, it's hot, my brain is drained, so you know everything's going well so far. Can I remember wires? I think blue is ground on this gauge. Yep, blue ground. And then black is signal. Yeah, we'll just, this is calibrated. If you didn't know, Volkswagens read, what is it, 73 empty, 10 full on the ohm scale. So that, and I'll just put another ground on this. Come on. There we go. Another ground on this. All right. Outside the car, I don't know how well you can see this gauge, but outside the car, this thing tested fine. Just right now, as it's sitting, should be empty. Raise the float, goes to full. Boop. Half tankish, probably. Wait for it to come down. But anyway, you get the gist. This float is reading correctly. Back to empty. Well, with the, when I would install it into the car, this one, into the car, it would only read basically full, 3/4 to full, or basically do whatever it did. I think it was hanging up on the baffle. I don't know, because every time I pulled it out of the car twice and it tested fine. Coincidentally, threw this one in, checked it before I threw it into the car. This blue wire signal. So this wire. This is a tank off the car. We got about a 1/4 tank in the in the tank. So that I'm going to say checks out. I will actually let me find a funnel, and I'll dump more gas in here and see, because I got gas. See if this needle moves while I fill it. Turn it to me. I won't lie to you. I'll watch it myself. Well, the floats are floating. I hate these gas cans. I actually like them, but I don't. Give or take about 2 gallons worth in there. We're above 1/4. The floats are picking up. So, with that testing aside, unclip that, unclip this, unclip that. I know the floats are reading correctly in the tank. Here's where the problem lies. When these floats came, well, when I put this float in, you know, connected everything, checked the gauge read 0. On the old float, it was reading. This gauge rate, or this float was reading 0. So this is how I got to this point. I thought I had a bad float. Somehow, again, if you put it in the car, it would not do float things. So this is why this setup's like this, so I can test if that float's actually reading or seeing what it's reading. Because I can probe it with, you know, my DVOM all day long, get whatever readings it says. Like I said, 73 is empty, 10's full. I'm pretty sure. Might have that backwards, I don't think I do. But as far as where in that ohm scale would equal, say, half a tank, 1/4 tank, so on and so forth, yeah, I don't know. That's why I have this. It's just an easy reference gauge, literally, of what I'm working with. So let me bring you inside to the new. Let me kick on those backlights. So I'm going to bring you inside to the can of worms that I've basically been tracking down to, or working down to. Yeah. Gauge is out, you know. Basically, I tracked it down to the gauge. Back probe the actual signal wire. Signal wire was providing voltage. It matched what was coming from the tank to what the reading should be on the gauge. Gauge wasn't reading. So, with that said, I ended up having to order, got a new gauge and a new vibrator. And we're going to replace them both, and hopefully we can get a gas gauge, because I don't know if the vibrator was going bad and it was just doing whatever it wanted to do, or if the gauge itself was going bad. So, let me replace these and report back to you. It's cramped in here, it's hot, I don't want you over my shoulder. It's not like I'm doing anything scientifical, or more than what I just explained, replacing this. But if you didn't know, they're held in, turn that screen. These gauges, they're held in by 2 screws that attach to the back of the gauge, and the vibrator connects, grounding strap connects to a screw that's down here. So, let me get the new gauge in and hopefully get a working fuel gauge. Bad thing is, the owners were more concerned about the gas smell coming out of this thing, because the old unit wasn't sealing. And like I said, when I pulled it to seal it, again, didn't have an issue with the sealing, but the fuel gauge still wasn't working. So I told him, I go, if your gas gauge doesn't work, he goes, we can live with it. And I'm like, well, bad news. I have a personal vendetta against this car now, and well, it's gonna leave with a working fuel gauge. Just because you can live with it doesn't mean you have to. So with that promptly said, I also followed it up with, other than the parts, I'm eating the labor costs because, like I said, I have a bit of an ego complex and I don't like to lose. And I can't, knowing the car wasn't in here for them complaining about the gas gauge, me taking it upon myself to fix a gas gauge, I can't charge you diagnostic. Just in general, I can't charge you diagnostic because it's unapproved maintenance. But with that said, I wasn't going to do that anyway, just due to the fact that I have a personal vendetta against this car right now with the gas gauge. It's simple. It's one wire. It's kicking my butt. So let me get the new gauge in. You saw by my gauge, maybe, I don't know if it's zoomed in enough, but you saw by my gauge, it's a little over a quarter of a tank right now. When I plug the new or get the new gauge working, it should be right about the same, depending on the ohm scale of the new gauge, calibration-wise. Mine could be, like I said, 73 to 10 or 73 to 8. If it's calibrated slightly off, it's going to read slightly off. But it should be within the quarter of a tank, and it will do the same thing. I'll dump the rest of the gas that I have in that gas jug. I have probably like another 2 gallons. Dump it in there and see if the new gauge, if it is reading where it should be currently, see if it does move up. And then I will say it's hopefully fixed. So let me get this thing plugged in. I'll be right back. All right, guys, before I slam the new unit into the car, more testing we have going on. That battery died. So now that battery's just a ground connector. Anywho, doesn't matter. We're reading, well, right at quarter, a little bit above, depending which way you hold your head. So that is gray area confirming what my gauge was doing. So can I zoom in on that? Yeah, watch the needle. I'm gonna dump the rest of the gas in that I have, so it's probably like 2.5 gallons. Hopefully that gauge moves to about half. And if it does, I will say that we have a functioning fuel gauge, and I'll slam it in the car. The last thing I want to do is slam this thing into the car, like I was going to do, and then maybe possibly have to pull it out again. You guys are watching this in real time. I can't see that gauge, so I'm hoping I am really hoping it's moving. Like I said, this car has been kicking my butt. And you can see, like I said, it just runs on one wire. Technically two if you count it ground. But it shouldn't be this difficult. Also, seeing how this car, if it only did have a quarter of a tank in it, I would like it to leave with more than that. So, testing and helping all at the same time. Not even going to charge them for the gas. All right, hopefully that gauge moved. That's about 2.5 gallons that got put in there. Oh my God, it moved. Yep. The battery's about to die. But yes, we're reading about half a tank now. It's still moving up some, but we have a functioning fuel gauge. I'll shove it in the car and, excuse me, shove it in the car, and hopefully it's gonna work inside the car, because I'm losing my freaking mind on this one. The only thing it would be, which would make no sense inside the car, would be a ground issue. But all the lights work, and they all work off the same grounding circuit, so that makes no sense. So let me shove that into the car, knowing that it actually functions outside the car. I don't know, it's like once it goes in the car, the thing stops working. Fuel gauge or fuel float in the car stops working. Fuel gauge, who knows? Put it in the car, stops working. But this is connected. We will, dry ran test it out here with that gauge. compared it with my gauge. I might connect my gauge up for, you know, S and G's and see if they read about the same. But I can show you or not. I want to change the battery. I'll test it and come back. All right. Am I recording? Yeah. Let's let me just bring you along for this part of it. Let's see, let's signal my gauge. Red wire and the ground. So we're reading what, over a little over half a tank on the factory gauge. It's still on my desk or toolbox. I haven't even plugged in yet. But I want to confirm that reading with this reading, which, like I said, I know this gauge reads. I trust this gauge more as far as knowing it works. Empty, full, you know, the empty, the full, and the mid-range. And then signal. So as long as this reads over, as long as this one's going to read over a half, I'd say that one's good. Yeah, we're at 3/4 on this one. So that's over a half. Factory gauges don't have 3/4, it's over a half. Maybe that translates where that needle's stopping to where this one is as a half a tank or over 3/4 of a tank. But with that said, I know that gauge, at least outside of the car, is reading. It's reading empty, it's reading full, and it's reading empty and it's reading full off of this gauge, or this old float, which I know is working. For some reason, it just didn't translate inside the tank. Because even with my voltmeter, it wasn't transferring inside the tank correctly. It was reading, I think, a full tank, give or take, or close to a full tank when it was installed in a tank. And clearly, we don't have that. So, just gonna, you know, with the discretion, I'll put that gauge in. Hopefully now, when it goes in the car, it's going to translate and it will read the same, which obviously would be perfectly ideal. So let me get that in the car, see if it translates over. Hopefully it does, because like I said, all the system works on is a ground and a signal wire. And yeah, I know it has power to the gauge. I know it has ground to the gauge. And I know it has signal to the gauge. So why it wouldn't translate in the car, I have no idea. But let me plug it in and get sorely disappointed for some freaking reason. I don't get it. But all right, I'll be back. Let me get in the car and then I'll run it. I'll fire it up with you and be either, you know, astonished that it's working, or astonished that it's not working. Yeah, we'll do it in real time. Well, we'll do the fire up in real time. Let me get it plugged in. All right, I'm going to apologize right now for whatever awesome audio we have going on. It decided to dump buckets. But anywho's, gauge, well, I know, hand. Well, fuel gauge in, normal gauge not in. Let's see what we got. Well, we're off to a bad start. Oh, nope, it's moving. Past eighth. Past the quarter. It's really jumpy. I don't know why, but it is. It's thinking about going faster. Half. Yeah, it's just slowing down as the ohms are trying to, you know, figure themselves out. But yeah, I'd say we're good. We're at least half a tank. It's still slowly creeping. I don't feel like sitting waiting. A little over half. You know, British flick if you ever work on Stuart Warner gauges. But all right, we're a little over half. Does it retract? It retracts. All right, so itch. All right, so she's reading a little over half. My gauge read 3/4. I'm gonna say there's about 3/4 in this tank, and it's working. It might be that needle, because it's glitchy, you know, boop, boop, notchy, what have you, might have a weird sense range in the center. I'll probably put another, if I got 3/4 in, it should only take about maybe 2 more gallons-ish to fill it, to brim the tank. I'll do that. I'll fill the tank and see what we get. Actually, let me ground out the signal. Which is simple enough. Well, if I can get on it, hold on. Damn it. Come on. I don't know, I might be on that clip enough. We'll find out. If I turn the key, it's really coming down. If I turn the key, that gauge should go to full. All right, and it does, so that's leading me to believe that if I do put a full tank in this car, it should go to a full tank. Like I said, the mid-range might be a little off. I can't help that it's, I'm gonna just blame aftermarket gauge. So, all right, I'll be back. Hey guys, first off, let me start off saying I am woefully ill-prepared right now. Mainly because it's been a wild few days. Let me grab a gas can. I'll be back. Told you. Unprepared. But anywho, yeah, I had a tornado touchdown. I mean, it's been raining like crazy here, so a little spotty on when I recorded. You didn't miss much, but we had a tornado touchdown here in Louisville, in the city, about 2 blocks away from the shop. Funny thing is, I didn't even know what was going on till next day, which would be today, as time of recording this. But anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm killing time right now while I let this gas gauge. I think we left it off at, is a little bit above half, give or take. Per my gauge, it was reading 3/4. So I'm saying about two more gallons should fill up the tank if my gauge is reading correctly, or if the float's reading correctly, and my gauge is reading correctly. And well, it's half tank on this, a little over half tank. I'm hoping it's just a weird needle thing going on. Yeah, we're here. I'll show you before I dump fuel in it. Like I said, I'm just still testing this gas gauge. But yeah, we're right. I don't know if you can see, little over a half. So let me, I know, dump 2 gallons in about, and well, we'll see if my gauge is right and we were at 3/4, or if that gauge is right, and this is about 2 gallons, or if that gauge was right. But anyway, I want to see that thing basically go to full. I'm just curious if it's stuck. Also, the reason I'm basically filling up this car, other than testing the fuel gauge, is, if you remember, I don't even know how I started with this. There's a fuel leak concern. The original complaint was the fuel leak, and then I managed to open the can of worms of this. All right. Let me get a flashlight. Because I don't want to overfill. Oh yeah, we're right. This is brimmed, like brimmed. I can see the, fuel. Did this fuel gauge move? And I'm hoping it did, and it moved to hopefully full. Right on the frickin' money. Right there, she's at full. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Full, coming down. Woo. So, yes, fuel gauge working properly, and they get a full tank of gas now. So that's good. Also, like I said, the original complaint was for leaky sending unit. Like I said, I knew the sending unit wasn't reading right, so this opened this whole can of worms as far as where we're at currently with the fuel gauge, because I figured it was the sending unit is one thing. I mean, I got it sealed in the first episode, was one of the complaints. So sealed in the first episode, not a big deal, but it just wasn't reading right. So I am an idiot, and we went this long doing this. So the next thing, other than me cleaning up my mess, is I want to throw a balance on these tires. Last time I had a test drive, or last time we did the test drive, or the last time we were in the test drive that we did anyway, the last time, talking like a VP. Anywho, I still had some shake, and like I said, I talked to the owner. He said the shop that mounted these tires said that the wheels were bent. I cannot remember, to be honest with you, if I rebalanced them, which I might have. Sounds like something I would do just because I'm stubborn. Either rebalanced them or swapped them when I had the wheels off. Not 100% sure, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna blow them off, throw them on the machine real quick, and see what they spin out to. I might bring you back there and just show you, but I mean, it's a tire machine. It'd be one thing if I knew you guys, had one. Not saying you probably don't. I mean, some of you guys are weird like me, and if you have a home shop, you did it yourself. Is that an MC weight? Nope, that's a P weight. I was gonna say, I went through ran out of the P weights, and I was throwing using MCs. Not saying I used it on this car. And if you didn't notice the stamp on the lid, or whatever the hell they're made out of nowadays, they will work on a standard steel wheel. You just got to clip them a little harder. But if I did use an MC, I wouldn't doubt that. Well, I haven't had them fling, but because I had to use the wrong weight for the right application, might have been something to do with it. But anyway, let me stop rambling. I'll balance it. If this thing is way off, if this thing's way off, I'll show you. But hold on. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I balanced these. Woo! Driver's side. Yeah, what do we got here? We got, what's that? 1/4 ounce by that red dot on this one, and 1/4 and 1 about from each other. So let's see how this bounces. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I haven't even adjusted anything yet or messed with anything. I just spun it up, and we're a half out. Right. What's that? Bottom. Boop. About a half out right about here. And there's a red dot. There's this weight. Oh, that is loose. Look at that. I can slide this weight. Remember when I said I think a weight might have slung? Well, a weight might have slung. So with that said, I'm going to pull all these weights. I'm just going to rebalance the wheel. Yeah, because it's a P25. That's a right weight. Or that should be a correct weight for this wheel. Like I said, I know when I had this car here, another P25. I know when I had this car here, I was running the MC weights, which are not correct, but they will work. Yeah, it's a P1 hundo. I just opened my hundo, so I know I didn't put that one on. All right, spin this up. And the wheel itself, if you can see it, does have a little bit of walk, but it's nothing crazy. All right, we got 75 on the outside here. I know I don't have a 75, so that's good. So now I got a math. See, 25, 50, and a 25. And I'll need another 25. I got a 25 up here. See if we can get it in spec. I hate using split weights, but I don't, or two different weights for the same, for one number. But I don't have a 75 and 25. Come on, boop, right there. Just bending that tab in a little bit more just to hopefully maybe not make it sling. Or spin or move. All right, where are we at? Ideally, you want to get it like, you know, so you don't have cross weights. You just want weight on one side, weight on the other side, and you're done. You don't want to keep adding weight. Like I'm 0 on the outside and a quarter on the inside. So what I'll do is I'll split the difference from where the old weight was here, new weight once there. I'm going to split the difference and see if I can zero it out. So right now we're 0 on the outside. Instead of adding another 25 in that location, try to do it with 2 weights. Well, technically 3, nope, still 25. How far off? We're still 0 on the outside. And it's, all right, I got a 50, right? Because it's still calling for 25 right here. So what I'll do is I'll take the, well, too late. I'll take that 25 off. I'll put a 50 where that 25 was. And see if it likes that. Balancing wheels is fun. All right, there we go. All zeros. But like I said, initially we had a 25 say here, and then it was calling for a 25 say here. Split the difference with a 50, and well, it'll zero it out. Same thing on this side. Like I said, I mean, I just got two. One 75. I don't have a 75 weight. I only have a 50 and a 25. And simple math says that'll work. Ooh, spider webs. So yeah, this wheel is good. We get the other one. Whew. I'll respin it. Double check. And typically, I think I've said this, if you have a 1/4 of an ounce, you know, all zeros, if you have at least 1/4 of an ounce reading, whether it be inside or the outside, typically you don't feel it. When you feel it is when you have, like what this thing originally spun at, weight on one side, weight on the other side, then you get the weird harmonic kind of thing. They fight each other. So let me get this on the car and I'll be right back. Anywho, wheels balanced, they're on. Last thing I got to do with this thing, well, take all my crap out of it and we'll take it out again. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it along for, you know, checking the valves and an oil change. It's done. Reason being, like I said, you might hear, try to not film the audio, but probably can't get away from it. You'll probably hear it. It was pouring immensely and then loss of power. You might have seen these videos before if you watch this channel enough. I have backup generators. It's just loud. The problem is I had to do all the adjustments on the floor and I can't try to show you anything because I really hate to stress my lift under backup power. Plus I got the banana here and I can't get this there without this out there. And no, not getting wet. I don't like cleaning things. So let me clean up my crap. I'll get the GoPro set up and next thing we'll be on the road. Well, probably tomorrow morning. It's getting late. But at least we know we have a full tank now. Oh, it is early o'clock. Yes, I am starting it out like that. What do we got? Now, 8 o'clock. 7:55 to be exact. I'm excited. But yeah, no, I gotta take this thing out on the road. It's a nice day out. Tops down. Figure we'll just putz around. Cars in neutral, let's see how she fires. It's gonna be poking me in the neck the whole time. That's great. All right. Few pumps. Hold it to the floor and turn. Gasket's still saying full. I know we're a full tank. So that didn't break. All right. I guess what we'll do is get this thing out on the road. Let it warm up a bit. Do my normal open the gates. Just realized I have to change the battery on the GoPro. And yeah, we'll be on the road shortly. I haven't even had my coffee yet. Yeah. Speedometer's working, that's good. But yeah, there's some pulses that I'm feeling right now, and they're all they're rack and pinion related. Steering wheel is much more smoother. Like I said, I am getting a bit of a bump. You can probably see it in the wheel. It is kind of like bump steer, I guess you want to say, but it's not a tire issue. Which, I mean, okay. I think the I did address my concerns about that to the owner, saying it wasn't, you know, it's not a safety of drive issue, it's just annoying. Only problem being, you know, rack and pinion car, not a steering box car. I think there's only one manufacturer out there that remanufactures these things, and they're like 500 bucks, four or 500 bucks, something like that. But I mean, it's livable. I know I started this video saying that, you know, like the gas gauge and stuff like that, you shouldn't have to live with things, but unfortunately, sometimes you do. But as far as weird wandering, anything like that, none of it. It is, I think I said this in my other video or first video of this car. This car is driving dramatically different, what have you, different than the first time I had it. It's not driving like a pogo stick. Like I said, there's still a pulse. I really wish I could fix that. I mean, I can. It's just a matter of being, you know, being able to. Yeah, other than that, this car is pretty minty. So I'm just gonna drive around, make sure I don't have any major leaks, you know, fuel system wise. I'm getting a slight vapor, nothing I'm concerned about. They tend to waft some. Don't ask me why. We still got the one hose that's original. Driving around like a Harley owner, blinker on. But yeah, we're doing 45. Like, I really can't see the speedometer. Ish. It's fine. I can feel it some, but it's really not. It's not terrible. Like I said, it's a more. It's annoying more than anything. Anyone else's allergies acting up? Because I'm happy I did the right thing and took the convertible out. Yeah, just wandering around Louisville. Second gear pull. Fine. I may adjust the brakes. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I may put a little adjustment in the brakes. They feel like they can use it. Pedal's just lower than I like it. And usually if it's a low pedal, it's out of adjustment, because I know there's no air in the system. Speedo's still working, gas gauge is still working. I'm still working. Yeah, that vibration, man. Well, like I said, the wheels did not seem bent. Oh yeah, we'll come hot in here. You know what? Let's do a, I don't know if it'll show, but this is a hill. Second gear hill climb. That was fine. Like I said, yeah, I don't have driver concerns about, I guess when they drive it home, they have like a trail and washout and swoop-de-doos and, you know, upsy downsies. That wasn't even that bad as bump steer. And they said it bogged out. I've been trying to bog this car. I don't know if it's a combination between bumps and the dual carbs that it's making it act up. But yeah, hit some bumps. We're in a little Mexico right now. I thought that this was the car. I don't know if that squeal's popping up. I thought I just broke something. Liquid nitrogen, it looks like. Some beans. She pulls good. Nothing weird, like I said. Pulls good. Nothing completely weird on the steering or anything like that. It's one of those things where go that way. Like I said, it's something weird on the steering, but that's all in the rack. I mean, again, like I keep going back to, should you have to live with it? No. But the option is getting hit by oncoming traffic going this way. But it's up to them, third gear. I'll lug it a bit. But like I said, the option is to them, I can fix it. It's going to be, you know, have to get so and so forth and it's X amount. Go this way now. I'm just in third lugging this thing, and it's fine. Alright, I'm gonna check on it's so quiet. So I make sure the gas tank's not leaking or anything like that. Like I said, every now and then you catch a waft. Yeah, gas tank's dry. Hey, groundhog. Crosser line's dry. Everything's dry under here. Yeah, it's running. Like I said, running good. Every now and then, if you drive old Volkswagens, you know the smell I'm talking about. You'll just catch a waft every now and then. Nothing's leaking, so I'm good with that. For obvious reasons. Alright. Hey, got a green light. Down the hill we just climbed up in a second. I know this thing don't look different, but this is level. I don't know if you can see it towards the background. Whee! If you guys have driven Supers, you know they have the death wander and the wobble and every other steering suspension issue known to man. This thing's at least a lot better. Than what it was. It could be a wheel. It really might be. Because it's... doing 50. And it feels fine. Slowing down, it comes in. Like I said, it might be a wheel. The rack is bumpy with that vibration. All right, back to the shop. Call the owner, see what they want to do. I could try to troubleshoot it some more, but like I said, I can't find anything on this front end that would be telling me it's broken or a worn component. Unless it's just not acting. I mean, I could strap my GoPro under and see if anything's moving. But everything's tight. That's what's the confusing part. So back to the shop. I'm gonna call the owner, see what he wants to do. Super suck because it always seems like you end up throwing 1,000 parts at it just to fix a problem. But as of right now, we're done. We're good. I think he said he might be getting different wheels too. So, in the future or soon, I don't know. Maybe they were just talking about it. But I guess my thing is, it's a lot better than what it was. Overall ride, so on and so forth. After getting new wheels, I don't want to spend more time and their money troubleshooting this front end. Because if they do end up getting new wheels and tires, it could also open another can of worms of diagnostic. So, all right, join me on the big cam. All right, we're back. Now I'm gonna see if I can park this thing instead of pushing it.
Oh, should have looked for the Corvette. All right, we're in. Backing up's that hard, not that hard, guys. Or backing into spots. I don't know why I put that up. Ow. All right. So what have we established? One, I can reverse into a parking spot because I'm better than people. Two, fuel gauge is still working. It's coming down from, shush. It's coming down from E right now. Three, this thing drives good, but it still has, I mean, I don't know if it even pick up. That imminent failure of bearing sound is all reverberating out of the rack. It's not like a steering column bearing or anything like that. Would have helped if I actually latched my door all the way. Oh, I just got into the car obviously from back and opening my gates up. Never mind. But yeah, other than that, car ran good. Does still have a vibration, which really, sucks. But like I said, it's in the rack. Wheel could be bent, but it's not picking up on my machine for some reason. I don't know why. They look fine. They did have like parking dents in them, but really zeroing them out, they shouldn't be an issue. But obviously still doing something. What else? The speedo works. Fuel, like I said, is fine. What's a hot start? No gas. Like it should. Fuel gauge coming up again. Back to full. But yeah, all right, let me close this thing out on a big cam. Everything's done. Like I said, I gotta call the owner. And yeah, I'll wrap up my brain thought up there. It's getting warm. I'll be back. All right, guys, closing out this video on a 79 Super. What did we do in this one? Messed with the gas gauge. Took it out for a test drive. Rebalanced the front wheels. Yeah, really, really simple things, but they take forever. Conclusion, gas stays in the tank. The gauge works. The car rides, well, the ride quality didn't change since the last video. Well, since the last video I took it out. But the wheels, I guarantee those wheels they have to be bent. It might not show, I might have said, or it might not show. It's so bad, but it's, you know, it's throwing off. I showed they're zero balance. They are as balanced as you can make these things, but you still get a speed vibration. So, also with that said, might have a broke belt. I didn't see it. Could be the tires too. I'm not coming up with excuses, but you could have bad tires. I didn't see any weird bulges or anything on the tire machine, but you could have bad tires, bent rims. I'm leaning towards. Maybe the drum. I don't know. I've never had a drum sling. If you didn't know, drums are weighted. They are balanced. Never had a drum go out of balance, but maybe the drum. But it's definitely a speed rotational one because it's also weird because of the come and go. It's not consistent at the speed. Sometimes it's just nice and smooth, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit of a vibration and it goes away. I don't know how to explain it. Big thing is, I really don't want to pursue throwing parts at it until I find out what's going on at rims. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up this episode. If you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you do, I promise you we will chit chat. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully, see you on the next one.